Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Liverpool blow a great opportunity to go back to the top of the Premier League with a 0-0 draw in the Merseyside Derby at Goodison Park. What did Everton do right? Why weren't Liverpool able to muster up 3 points? Don't worry, here are the interviews. We've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, we're going to briefly break down why Liverpool drew 0-0 with Everton. So before we get into today's video, don't forget to give our video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it. The bell below does give you daily notifications regarding our organic, unfiltered soccer/footy analysis. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. In today's video, we're going to break down the first half and the second half, basically see how both sides look to approach the game, what Everton did right, where they were able to find their advantages, and where Liverpool were also able to find their advantages, but were unable to finish the job. But first, let's get to the starting lineups. We look at Everton more before 4-4-2 with Xherdan and Calvert-Lewin up front. Xherdan just playing in behind him. Out in the wider areas, Bernard and Walcott. In midfield, Idrissa Gueye and Morgan Schneiderlin. Then we move to Liverpool 4-3-3. Origi, Salah, and Mane up front. In midfield, we went with Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Fabinho. So now let's get to the first half, see how both sides look to approach the game, and why neither side were able to claim 3 points. So when we look at Liverpool against Everton, we have to start with the way that both sides press. Liverpool pressing from the front in the earlier stages, and it really made sense here because what they ended up having was the center backs were pushed out, and they would have Origi and they would have Salah stepping to them. Then they would have Mane dropping off into space, and they would have both Schneiderlin and Gueye drop into those spaces to try and ensure that they have the numerical advantage in those advanced positions. But Pickford never looked to play the passes into them, and that was because he didn't want Liverpool to engage that pressing. He often punted the ball long, and when Liverpool looked to press from the front, what they would do was that they would have Mane, like it was typical Liverpool pressing that we've seen this season, not that aggressive. Mane in a central position in between the center backs, and they have Origi and they have Salah looking to cut off the passing lanes into the fullbacks. But Liverpool largely dominate possession for long spells of this game, and it was more so about Everton. And Everton here dropped off into two banks of four. You have Gueye and Schneiderlin looking to protect the central areas. Bernard and Walcott chosen because of their tireless work rate and ability to track the forward runs of Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. But up front, they did have Schneiderlin and they had Calvert-Lewin looking to press from the front. Sometimes you'd have Schneiderlin sitting on Fabinho with Calvert-Lewin looking to press the ball carrier out of the center backs, but sometimes you'd see Schneiderlin drop into that space as well with Fabinho looking to tuck in. They weren't too wary about Fabinho, although he does offer those diagonals from deeper positions, but they would often try and just sit in between him and cut off the passing lanes, and when the opportunity was there to press, they would go and press. There was one time where we did see a marker actually jump in, two-step to Fabinho and Morgan Schneiderlin, but the problem here was that what happens when Schneiderlin stepped to Fabinho, for some odd reason, we had Xherdan move to Alisson, who was very good with his feet, so there was no reason for him to step to Alisson, force him to play it long, but he played it back out wide, and they were able to bypass the press there. So when we think about it, and we break down a 0-0 draw, we have to look to see where Liverpool were able to find their bright spots. Everton's backline were struggling to play balls out of the back. Pickford's deliveries were a bit dodgy. Keane's passing was very poor. On the right-hand side, Coleman was struggling 1v1 against Origi, and he was also not doing the best with his first touches and his second touches. And then Digne was being caught out in advanced areas, and that's where Liverpool were looking to exploit Everton's backline. But in the earlier stages, one of the first opportunities, we have Henderson dropping off a bit deeper, and he did do that to get away from Gueye because in midfield, the battle was pretty much set. You had Xherdan sitting near Fabinho. You'd have Gueye against Wijnaldum, or you'd have Schneiderlin against Wijnaldum and then Gueye against Henderson. What we ended up seeing was Henderson dropping off a bit deeper, and this is when Salah and Origi swapped flanks, and he located Salah running off Coleman, but Coleman intervened and came across quickly to ensure that Salah was unable to get on the ball, and that was one opportunity there where you could see them trying to break free to get him going forward. So Coleman cleared that, and shortly after that, what we end up seeing, Alexander-Arnold playing a throw-in over Bernard, over Gueye, and it falls to Salah, who's able to run at Lucas Digne. but he's only able to cut in and curl his effort on goal. But that was where we saw a lot of Mo Salah down the right-hand side, and we'll get to Liverpool's best chance of that half. You could see from another Alexander-Arnold throw-in, the ball is thrown to Sadio Mane, who does drop off a bit deeper, and he's swarmed by Schneiderlin and Gay eventually wins the ball and plays it back to Keane. When he plays it back to Keane, you end up seeing Mane step to him, and then you have Henderson stepping to Zuma, and Keane plays a pass into Schneiderlin, but his loose touch ends up being picked up by Fabinho, and when Fabinho picks it up, what do we see there? You have Digne a bit higher, and he instantly slides it into Salah, free on goal, who breaks into the box, but his second touch is a bit poor, but he's still able to get that 1v1, but Pickford makes a key save, and that was Liverpool's best chance there that you expect Mo Salah to score, but he didn't. The other avenue to goal was through Joel Matip, who was often given the license to push forward, and we'll get to more of that when we get to their second half chances. And on two occasions, we see him first playing the pass in behind Bernard for Alexander-Arnold, who breaks forward, but Lucas Digne came across to block his cross. And then shortly after that, we had Salah drift into that space to get the ball in behind Bernard. And we had Digne step to him again, but he's able to brush off Digne, drive at goal on the outside into right half space, cut out, cut back in. And with Zuma coming across, he plays the ball into Wijnaldum, breaking into that 6-yard box, but Morgan Schneiderlin steps in to intervene and stop that play. Mane wasn't really offering much. Liverpool still having issues creating chances for their attacking players, but that's where they were able to find avenues. But now when we get to Everton, we look at how they were able to create chances, and they only had one real avenue. It was through Calvert-Lewin, who was looking to make darting runs into the channels. He was working hard to pick up any loose balls that he can, and he did find some outlets against Matip 1v1. There were 3 opportunities that did come to mind, 2 that do feature him. One were to loose ball up against Matip, and he's able to turn him with ease and break down the channel, and he looks to play a ball around Van Dijk for Bernard, who actually gets across Robertson to break into the box, but Robertson pokes it away, but into the path of Sigurdsson, who's able to take his first touch past him and try to play another cross into the box, but Van Dijk is there to clear the lines. Shortly after that, it's a loose header from Digne, and it's Calvert-Lewin dropping off, taking on Matip, but this time he flicks the ball beyond Alexander-Arnold for Bernard, who once again now is able to locate Theo Walcott, breaking in ahead of Robertson, but Robertson tracks it well, and once again he steps in, pokes the effort away from him, and clears the lines. But that's how they were breaking down that side. And the final opportunity that we do get from Everton, who did spend majority of their half in that 4-4-2, trying to cope with Liverpool's attacking press, was the fact that here Keane for the first time is able to clip a ball over the top, and it's because Matip keeps Theo Walcott onside. He's able to run off Robertson to bring the ball down, but Van Dijk comes across, and as he breaks into right half space, he opts to shoot, but Walcott's shot flashes wide of the net. So we break down the first half as a whole. We see that Liverpool are able to break down that right-hand side. Mo Salah had some of the better chances, but Calvert-Lewin's willingness to work in the channels did present Everton with some opportunities. But besides that, this was basic. Liverpool trying to break down that 4-4-2, but not having enough answers. So let's get to the second half, see if both sides would make any changes and why Liverpool were unable to claim 3 points. When we move to the second half, nothing really changed in the way Liverpool were going about their business, and they can only blame themselves for not claiming 3 points here. When we look to the way that they were able to gain opportunities, in the opening stages, we did see Origi get more involved. We saw Van Dijk clip of free kick from half into the path of Origi, who was able to go 1v1 with Coleman, cut outside, deliver a cross into the box, but Schneiderlin was able to clear it from danger. Shortly after that, we had Henderson in midfield step away from Morgan Schneiderlin and slide the ball across Idrissa Gueye for Wijnaldum, who again played it out to Origi. He was able to go 1v1 with Coleman, this time cutting inside, but dragging his shot wide of the net. That was how he was able to go about his business, but Liverpool were still able to push forward from the same templates. This time Matip getting forward, slipping past Schneiderlin, getting past Bernard, or getting past Sigurdsson, slipping past Schneiderlin, and getting past Bernard, and as he sees Salah making the run in between Digne and Zuma, his pass wasn't even that great, but Zuma's deflected it into the path of Salah, breaking free, but he takes 2 extra touches, and Keane is able to slide in to make the intervention. Salah, 2 golden chances in right half space, should score, doesn't score. However, we see Liverpool turn to their bench, they bring on James Milner for Wijnaldum, they end up turning to Roberto Firmino for Origi, but the problem here is that perhaps, although Liverpool can say they were possibly wary of the counter-attacking threat that Everton did possess, the only threat that they were really posing in that opening half prior to their substitutions was Calvert-Lewin. Why not bring on Shaqiri? Why not move to a 4-2-3-1? They don't do that. Firmino comes on, and when you look at the chance they do create, it's not that it really impacted the game. One saw Fabinho step into Digne in midfield, and that takes him out of the game, and that leaves Everton with 3 defenders. Then Firmino slides the ball to Salah, who is now able to break. We have Mane breaking in between Coleman and Keane. Then you have Firmino drifting out to the left-hand side, and Salah slides it out to him. Now you have Mane driving into the box with Coleman, and Salah breaking at the far post. And although Mane is able to peel off Coleman to not his effort across the 6-yard box, there's no one to attack it because there's no extra runner breaking into the box, and Salah making the outside run. Besides that, they had one other golden opportunity, short corner. Robertson clips the ball to Van Dijk, running off of Xherdan. And what happens there is he nods it across goal to Fabinho, but even his first touch isn't good, and it allows Digne to come across to clear the lines. That was what Liverpool's MO was. They were getting chances in transition. They had Origi down that left-hand side, but there just wasn't enough from them. Salah, Mane weren't having their best game. Origi didn't offer much of a threat, and they weren't getting any supply from the central midfield. But when we look to Everton once again, they also stuck to their template as to how they were looking to create chances, but they did pounce on some of Liverpool's mistakes in the way that they were trying to play through the game. We look at, again, we see Van Dijk looking to play the pass in between the 2 forwards in Xherdan and Calvert-Lewin, and he finds Fabinho, but Fabinho's touch is loose when he tries to play it into Robertson, and Walcott's able to latch onto it, and he breaks forward, but Robertson's able to track him and hold him up, and he drops the ball off to Xherdan. But now what happens is that Wijnaldum recovers, you have Fabinho recovering, and you have, again, Robertson recovering. They have a bit of a box. So when Origi was there, what happened is that Coleman made the overlapping run, and his cross from that right channel was blocked by Van Dijk. That was a reoccurring theme throughout the game, because even when we look to the next opportunity, this is after Richarlison came into the game. Richarlison entered, and what happened there is that this was when Milner and Firmino already in. What we see is that Milner tries to clip the ball over Richarlison, who replaced Walcott, and what happens is that when he tries to find Robertson, you have Coleman stepping in, and Coleman steps in, and Richarlison picks up the ball with Milner stepping, and he slides it out to Coleman, who instantly plays his first time cross towards the box, but Van Dijk again is there to clean up the mess, and that was pivotal. When we look to another opportunity that they do create, stems down that side again, this time Milner, who is forced as a left shuttler to step out to try and close down Coleman, but he doesn't do a good job there. Clips the ball into Calvert-Lewin, who drops off ahead of Van Dijk, and this is one of the few times Van Dijk was beaten in this match, because Calvert-Lewin takes his touch across Van Dijk and slides in Richarlison, and as Richarlison breaks free behind Robertson, what happens is that he delivers across through the box for Bernard breaking in, but Alexander-Arnold does enough to hold him off, and the ball flies through the box. Everton end up making a few more changes to replace like-for-like players up front that were losing a bit of energy. Tosin came in for Calvert-Lewin. Andre Gomes came in as well for Schneiderlin, but nothing really changed in that regard. They did have one more chance. Pickford clipping the ball into Tosin, backing into Matip, and what happens there is that Bernard's able to run onto it, but as soon as he gets towards the box, it's Van Dijk again, who was immense throughout the game. Liverpool Liverpool's best player, whereas their front three weren't clicking. They weren't creating enough chances, and this is a similar theme that we've seen with Jurgen Klopp's men, struggling to break down teams that sit off a bit deeper with only 3 attackers. This is why a lot of people are suggesting they move to a 4-2-3-1. Where was Shaqiri? Why did Lallana come on so late? Perhaps why not any other options that they can move? Why not change the system? Whereas Everton stuck to their laurels, got into a few good positions through Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison coming on later on in the half, but Virgil van Dijk stood tall, and Liverpool now dropped to second place. But let me know what you guys think. Does this Liverpool side have the stomach to win the Premier League title? And what about Everton? Will they finish in the top half this season? Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.